Hello, good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News on 3FM and 92.7. My name is Beatrice Adu. The news is also live on Kesmi 107.1 FM and across the world at 3news.com. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. New Patriotic Party accuses the National Democratic Congress of exploiting LGBTQI plus issues for political advantage, only to later shift its position. We have details, including the party's call on the clergy to demand an apology from the NDC over what it describes as an inconsistency in its stance. Also on the program this afternoon, Electricity Company of Ghana begins transformer upgrade across main transmission points in the capital city, intended to improve power supply to consumers. We've got the details as well for you. Later on the program, 5 fake national security operatives arrested over mining site robbery in the Western North region. Very much for joining us this afternoon. Now, the New Patriotic Party says the current government under John Mahama is doubling in deception and double standards over LGBTQI plus activities, saying the urgency they attached to a legislation in opposition has suddenly evaporated since they assumed office. Proponent of the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill, otherwise known as the Anti-LGBTQI Bill, John Intim Fojo, has observed that the NDC only weaponized the issue against NPP in the run-up to the 2024 elections and deceived the clergy, Muslim clerics and Ghanaians. He's been addressing the president for not prioritizing the matter, and we'll bring you more shortly. Reverend Intim Fojo, some of the demands he's making of the president and the NDC government.
Now, therefore, the New Patriotic Party, together with the overwhelming majority of Ghanaians, demand the following: the immediate realignment of President Mahama's priorities. Say that sovereignty resides in the people. Therefore, President John Dramani Mahama must realign his priorities in line with the real priorities of the overwhelming majority of Ghanaians, specifically the 93% of Ghanaians who, according to the CDD Ghana Afrobarometer survey, consider the practices of LGBTQ and related activities highly repugnant to the societal values and religious beliefs. Second, an apology to the clergy, to the imams, Muslim clerics, and traditional leaders. The NDC and President John Dramani Mahama must apologize to the Christian Council, the Catholic Bishops' Conference, GPCC, and all other ecumenical bodies, the office of the Chief Imam, and our imams, our Muslim clerics, traditional rulers, and concerned CSOs for the double standards and contradictory priorities demonstrated between the period in opposition and now in power. Additionally, we call on the clergy, our Muslim clerics, communical bodies, traditional rulers, the civil society organizations to call out the NDC and President John Dramani Mahama on their U-turn on LGBT issues to maintain their spirited advocacy for the passage of the pending bill. We urge the Majority Leader, Honorable Mahama Yarga, and the Speaker of Parliament, Right Honorable Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagbin, to ensure the swift passage of the reintroduced bill without further delay tactics orchestrated by the deletion of the advertised bill from the order paper only to be relisted after 7 months of pressure. When we put pressure on them, they relisted it. Clearly, somebody was receiving instruction from the Jubilee House and showing them and whipping them on which priorities they should attend to. And to those of our colleagues who still are part of this bill and who promised Ghanaians that when President Mahama is voted into power, if he drags his feet on the legislation, they will mount pressure. They will put pressure. We are waiting to hear that pressure, to see that pressure.
And you heard the Reverend Johnny Tim Fojo, who is a proponent of the anti-gay bill, speaking at that press conference. Our man Christian Yale monitored this. He joins us live on the line. Of course, we just heard the demands from the Member of Parliament there. What else did he say at this program?
Right, so Beatrice, so what we know is that over the period, this issue about the anti-LGBTQ bill has been of great interest and of debate as well. Now, today, what the NPP is saying is that the NDC in the run-up to the 2024 election used the anti-LGBTQ bill, which was first introduced in 2021, as a deception to win power. And now that they are in power, they have totally turned away from all the campaign that they made during the time. In fact, he is of the view that the urgency with which they campaigned for the passage of this bill back then in opposition, especially in the 2024 election period, has suddenly evaporated. And so they, as NPP, are of the view that the president, as it stands, is dabbling in double standards, such that when he goes before the UN people in the United States of America, he pretends to show interest in the bill and also tries to more or less engage in some rhetorics that are not yielding in the result that they want to see in an expedited passage of the bill. And so he is playing a dangerous double standard. There is one narrative to Ghanaians and another narrative when he goes before some of those international bodies. And so they want him to reconcile this with his earlier positioning with the bill. In fact, he also touches on the recent issue of the NACA teacher manual, which had, definitions of LGBTQ, which raised eyebrows and caused a serious national debate. He is of the view that as of yet, there's not been any clear commitment to, repairing the damage that caused. In fact, he also goes ahead to mention for a fact that NDC then portrayed NPP government as being indecisive, but they are equally doing the same thing as it stands today. They have shifted their stance from passing the bill to now managing how the bill will be introduced and structured in Parliament. So he is of the view that largely, by far and extent, there is someone from the Jubilee House who is, dictating to leadership of the NDC in Parliament as to how expeditiously they should deal with this bill. So these are some of the claims that Johnny Tim Fojo has leveled against the government and has demanded those actions that we played earlier.
And indeed, even before the demands, he talked about how the NDC had to put pressure on the government 7 months after it was brought into power for members to now reintroduce this bill. If you can tell us the status of the reintroduced bill, as it were, currently in Parliament.
Yeah, so what I know is that the bill was reintroduced. That was after we know that it was first introduced and advertised in one of the other papers in Parliament and then was taken off for a very long time. He himself, together with his colleagues, raised a campaign to cause it to be reintroduced. Now, as of that time, the majority leader was of the view that so far as Parliament passed an initial bill, then it presupposes that they should just forward that one to the president for the president to assent to that. Now, the claim also is that, and what we know in parliamentary practice is that once a bill dies with the parliament, it has to be reintroduced to be taken again because the previous parliament would have died. It was reintroduced. The speaker went in the conversation and indicated that he wanted to ensure that all the clauses as well as all the concerns that were raised concerning that bill had been dealt with. Now, subsequently, he referred it to the Legal and Constitutional Affairs Committee as well as the Subsidiary Legislation Committee, who look into matters of legal issues to deal with it. So currently, as we speak, the bill has been with the committee, but in Team 4 is of the view that even at the committee level, those that must be called to come to, share their input into the final draft have not been called. And so it is still with the committee. We are expecting that when Parliament resumes from the current recess, possibly there would be a consideration of that for that bill to be re-advertised, and then it will enter the second stage. At the second stage, that is where you have a full-blown debate, and then after that, it goes into the third consideration where the clauses of the bill will be considered before it is passed, and then subsequently will be submitted to the presidency for assent.
Thank you very much, Christian Yale. He's our parliamentary affairs correspondent, bringing us the latest as regards the demands of the minority on the LGBTQI bill. Now, 5 men posing as national security operatives have been arrested in the Western North region for allegedly robbing a mining site and causing damage to equipment. The suspects, who reportedly dressed in security attire, are said to have extorted and seized items from miners under the guise of official duty. The suspects were picked up on the 2nd of April 2026 at about 6 p.m. following intelligence that a group of men dressed in national security attire were moving through communities around Suaboy, demanding documentation from miners and seizing items. The suspects have been identified as Amponsan Sari Wagon 33, Nelson Agboja 28, Wedega Norbert 27, among others. And we understand that they were driving the Toyota Hilux vehicle used in the operation at the time of arrest. Now, during interrogation, the suspects claimed to be affiliated with National Security and NADMO. Let's speak to our Western North correspondent, Matthew Ahiava. He joins us live on the phone. Matthew, what else do we know about the operation that led to these arrests, first of all?
Yeah, Beatrice, when you come to Western North, Western North is one of the regions with this illegal mining activities. And for some time, this illegal mining activities came to a standstill after NIMO's operation and the rest. But then for some 2 months now, it's rising again. And due to that, some men always or have been posing themselves to be personnel from various security services, police, NADMO, and all that. So we were there when the regional commander called us to his office that this has been an operation or an intelligence-led operation they did on 2nd April 2026. As far as this mining activities is concerned. And the operation yielded a result by arresting 5 people, which one of them has been granted bail. With the fact that his company he worked with, or the car they used to, or they sent to the operation, was being rented from a company. And for that matter, the company owner brought documentation confirming the legality of that car. So for the driver, the police have given him bail on that. But when you come to other issues, those guys have been posing themselves quite some time, and they've been going from one place to the other, and also robbing homes around if they go and they didn't get anything. And on this operation, the commander made us aware that they went to a site that is no more working. There was nobody there, so they didn't get anything. Quickly, they have to rush to nearby residents or houses around and rob and destroy things over there. So the police at the other side, that is Babia, so the northern part of Western North, got this intelligence, and they swiftly moved to the area and they apprehended this 5 people, which one of them has been granted bail.
All right, thank you very much, Matthew Ahiave. But briefly before you go, though, how are people reacting to this very incident? Very briefly.
So residents are happy. Residents are happy, even though we were not there, but we were able to speak to one or two of them. And due to this, because of this, many of them have been always been in fear due to this illegal mining activities.
All right, thank you very much, Matthew Ahiave, who is our Western North Regional Correspondent, bringing us an update as regards the arrest of some individuals who posed as national security officials. Let's hear the Western North Regional Police Commander, DCOP Dr. Francis Kwame Chidi, speaking earlier.
Are unemployed and have nothing to do with the national security as claimed earlier. Suspect Aponsal Sariwegan confessed that he was paid by, this is the area which must be so interesting to all of you, that he was paid by Wan Yao, an ex-employee of the site, to come and then ransack the place and then expose his former boss, who he earlier worked with at the site. During a search on the vehicle, that is the Toyota Hilux, police retrieved 2 car batteries, 3 pumping machines.
And you had the DCOP Dr. Francis Kwame Chidi, who is the Western North Regional Police Commander. Earlier, you heard a reporter also bringing us an update as regards this very arrest of those individuals. Now, frequent power outages and transformer overload to now be a thing, will now be a thing of the past in Accra, and this is according to the Electricity Company of Ghana. ECG is to begin 240 million cedi transformer replacement program across 8 substations in the capital city, Accra, saying the investment will significantly strengthen the city's power grid for the next 30 years. The exercise, which will begin tomorrow, the 8th of April, and run until Friday, covers 12 transformers across substations in Adenta, La Teshinungwa, Emwajo, Bachona and Lashibi. Each unit is being upgraded from 20 to 30 MAV. Francis Kofi is general manager of the substation in Accra.
There marked 8 substations for this project. We started from Denu. That one was completed about 2 months ago. We are currently here. From here, we'll go to Lashibi, and we have a substation behind Trade Fair. We'll be doing that also. Within the Teshi Nungwa enclave, we are going to do that. And then we have another substation around Spinters Road. We'll upgrade that one also, and we'll do that of Adenta. We've installed one at Adenta already. It is left with the last one. From here, when we are done with Accra and Tema.
Now, the exercise, which will begin tomorrow, the 8th of April, and run until Friday, covers 12 transformers across substations in areas including Adenta, La Teshinungwa, among others. Charles Niayiku is General Manager, External Communications of the Electricity Company of Ghana.
We apologize for the inconvenience, but we hope that after this exercise, our customers would enjoy very reliable power, and our systems will also be well strengthened to take more of our customers, especially those who are now going to be in some of our communities. You know, our communities are expanding. It's important that we also expand our facilities.
And I had there Charles Ni Ayiku is the General Manager, External Communications for the Electricity Company of Ghana. The Owotu Senya East Municipal Assembly has carried out a demolition exercise at the Kaswa Old Market, clearing temporary structures along the main road to make way for the construction of permanent stores. The operation took place around 2 a.m. on Monday when a joint team of security personnel and the Assembly's task force moved into the Kaswa Central Business District. Structures located in front of the main lorry station were pulled down as part of the exercise. The move follows earlier resistance from petty traders who last month opposed the Assembly's decision to remove the temporary structures. Authorities say the redevelopment project is expected to significantly improve trading conditions and enhance the overall economic landscape of Kaswa. Some traders, however, expressed frustration over the development, accusing authorities of unfair treatment.
Na anadino omabe bubu patano wo container bibia wo bia tifim and run upon on back na enwumre no omaye da omaye no Iron City no se kwa kasa kwa wo kwan ko aye bibia se to ko pam na no se the hospital no enso to na no e fa abofra bi ho emra akọ no ona so say nim se ho no he enta say okọ consult e kwan no obere foforo oye ne maybe na so yin na onye na na so an che dan kan tell say oye den o de ko ho ento se me kabo say wa ma baby a na dada o ma e baby e o say ya fro say Iron City so enya wona wa kwa kosi e yo bi dia e ye nkrofo de o mutitim nkrofo mo say wo ba na okura wadaka enti ye nkọ ne ye nkọ wu ana yakọ ministry yakọ this headquarters ni ya there say ye bia ya ankosi aga ende ya wa no ma on pray amaba so mo ba be bupo apata ye ni say bia ye yimpo o ma be se nyama e wo he nyina o ma bubu nyama ni nyina say apata ni bi bia sa na ye no ana na ma e bresa adai yetie mamu yenya awogwo adwuma we no na ye de hwefie bra me kuta nkwala 7 we na me de hwe me da me kofio me da ponte te se de me ni dan na me da na me nye bi de amankwala no me de bia ko school adai ana mo ye yesa me na ma de bi me se me ton fruit me to me ni se no me kwa kan na ma kwa papa aga veska no kwa wan ko fanya ma Bana kam discount kwa to what the jana ma me beti ya kwa aka ye ma me mo si ade o me ya ma ye na o me ya ma ya me a me tie me je 300,000 na obi a me je 200,000 me da high score 1 billion wa o chance ade e be yi se na akoyo no hwe no nya bibi fa o na proposal na ye penny for ni the brand say store no so me si a na o nya se ne playing ground no mo fa top no onye bibi fa o every say nipa we tu omo ano store 120 no yenkom enko de che free mpo a enye ye on hwe no onye bibi fa o na say wa be share bo so your batampa dia and onye ne batan so adie.
And you heard that some traders at the Kaswa Old Market obviously unhappy about the demolition exercise. Well, a representative of the Assembly, Abdurrahman Mohammed, insists the traders were duly engaged before the demolition.
What is going on here, we call it eviction exercise. I believe various stakeholders were engaged, especially with regards to the petty traders who sell here. The National Assembly engaged them with respect to moving them from this particular place to the new markets that is really catered for them. So we had chiefs that were also told, and we also engaged all stakeholders within the jurisdiction in respect of this particular exercise. And one of the cardinal duties of the Municipal Assembly is to generate funds. And so what is going to happen here is going to be an ultra-modern shops that will be built here in order to increase the revenue generation for the Municipal Assembly. But these people have been there with this motorized structure, which is not even part of the Assembly's regulation and structure or plan. So by that, they were told to move to the new market that they've created for them at Iron City. I think the Municipal Assembly have gone there to have a facelift of the place. They've just took gravels and everything over there to make sure that the place is very good. So as it stands now, all they're supposed to do is to move to that particular place. We have quite a number of them who have moved their items, and a few of them also left their items. When they realized the team are really serious, they just came and started moving out their items. So basically, that is what is going on. We have the immigration, we have the Ghana Police Service, we have the fire service, we have NADMO joint team. So the reason why you see them in their numbers here is to just make sure they protect the properties that are basically in there.
So when it has to do with the properties, everything is secured. As it stands now, all traders that have items here are around. So what they do is that they try usher them there, they pick their items, and put them this way. So as it stands now, issue regarding theft. I think we had a couple of incidents where an individual went there and picked a bag, one little bag. The police officers took him up and then they took the bag from him. So for issue regarding theft, I'm not sure we're going to have the assembly who's going to deploy men to make sure they really handle it. If you came here earlier, you realize that when they started the operation, they have to redirect the moving vehicles to join this in order that they can have free space to operate. So I believe that when they are done and they collect the temples, tomorrow early in the morning, there will be officers here. Yes, we are trying everything humanly possible to make sure that before tomorrow rush hour, this should be collected. So that is exactly what we're doing.
And you have Abdul Rahman Mohammed. He's a representative of the local assembly of Kaswa. Let's go up north because the Upper West Regional Police Command has cracked down on drug traffickers, leading to the arrest of several suspects and the seizure of large quantities of suspected narcotic substances across the region. The Regional Police Commander, DCOP Francis Yiribari, says that they have confiscated 218 compressed slabs of those substances, 54 parcels, and 8 other assorted consignment of substances suspected to be Indian hemp. The command issued a strong warning to transport operators, cautioning them to desist from allowing their vehicles to be used as couriers of illicit drugs, as the vehicles risk forfeiture to the state, in addition to prosecution for the owners when caught. Let's speak to our correspondent, Ibrahim Wangara. He joins us live on the phone. Ibrahim, where are these operations or where they actually carried out?
Well, the operations were carried out in several communities within the region, including Ramon, Nadoli, Loho, Sahel, Yiri, as well as Hamele and that of Fancy. So these are the places where the operations took place, leading to the recovery or the seizure of the substances.
And if you can tell us how many suspects, confirmed for us, were arrested in this exercise?
Yes, so far 16 suspects have been arrested, assisting police in the investigations.
And what is the state of the suspects in terms of prosecution?
Yes, according to the Ghana Police Service, all suspects are currently undergoing various stages of investigations and prosecution, while the vehicles used to transport the substances have also been impounded.
Wangara, what can you tell us about the reaction of people in the areas to the latest arrests?
People are happy with the development in the sense that Upper West region appears to be gaining a surge when it comes to the trade and usage of illicit drugs. And day in, day out, almost every someone, leadership are cautioning the youth to distance themselves from these drugs. But as we do know, this happens to be a headway or giving some kind of headway to duty bearers, and that of the tax that was established by the regional minister to fight this trade of illicit drugs.
Thank you very much, Ibrahim Wangara. He's our Upper West Regional correspondent. That's it for the midday news here on Shri FM 92.7. My name is Beatrice Adu. Thank you very much for joining us today. Do log on to shrinews.com for more news. Good afternoon.
afternoon and welcome to Business Daily on 3FM 92.7. Coming up this afternoon, Fitch Solutions projects Ghana's economy to set to weather US-Israel-Iran tensions as gold prices soar. Also, President Mahama assures business community of cedi stability to boost trade.
We're not looking for a strong currency. We're not looking for a strong cedi. We're looking for a stable cedi.
Plus, government of Ghana misses target by 1.05 billion cedis in third straight deficit as treasury bill demand slumps. I am Bismarck Ausa. Will bring you details of our headlines and other stories shortly. Please stay. Thanks to your company. Now to the details. Ghana's economy is projected to remain resilient in the face of escalating geopolitical tensions between the US and Iran, bolstered by record high gold prices and a surge in mineral exports, according to the latest report from Fitch Solutions. The report notes that Ghana's status as a net oil neutral trader and the implementation of a new gold royalty regime are key structural factors that will help stabilize the cedi and maintain fiscal discipline despite global market volatility. There is more in the following 3 Business News Desk report. Despite a 14% dip in global gold prices since last February 2026, driven by a strengthening dollar and rising treasury yields, gold continues to trade at historic levels. As of March 27, the spot price sat at $4,413 per ounce, nearly triple the 10-year average. Fitch Solutions Commodities team is forecasting an annual average gold price of $4,600 per ounce for 2026. This would represent a 33.7% increase over the 2025 average, providing a significant cushion for Ghana's external sector. The report highlights several factors keeping Ghana shielded. Gold output is expected to rise by 7.1%, fueled by increased activity at Bibiani, Chirano, and Namdini mines. Gold export revenues are projected to hit $23.7 billion, accounting for 1.5% of GDP, nearly double the historical average. Strong foreign exchange inflows are expected to ease pressure on the cedi despite global market volatility. While conflict in the Middle East often triggers fears of rising fuel costs, Fitch noted that Ghana's hydrocarbons trade balance is expected to remain broadly even. This suggests that the country's current account will remain stable as the costs of energy imports are largely offset by domestic production and export gains. The report also credited Ghana's internal policy shifts for its stable outlook. The implementation of a new gold royalty regime, combined with recent fiscal consolidation measures, has placed government in a stronger position to manage fiscal pressures. And that was a 3 Business News Desk report on Fitch Solutions projecting Ghana's economy set to weather US-Israel-Iran tensions as gold prices soar. Moving on, President John Dramani Mahama has reaffirmed his administration's commitment to maintaining a stable exchange rate, providing a much-needed assurance to the Ghanaian business community. Speaking to the business community during the Kwehu Business Forum, the president emphasized that a stable cedi is central to his resetting Ghana agenda. The president noted that currency stability is a win-win for the economy, offering a predictable environment that benefits both importers and exporters.
The currency has stabilized and it has made the investment environment more predictable for business people. When you get a stronger currency, you also must look at the other side, the exporters, because the importers are happy when the currency appreciates, but the exporters are also not happy because the same dollar that they bring, they get less cedis for their dollar. And that's why I've always said that we're not looking for a strong currency. We're not looking for a strong cedi. We're looking for a stable cedi. A stable cedi that is predictable, and we know that it will not decline or depreciate more than 5% of its value in a whole year. That's the kind of currency we're looking for. And so we'll continue to work to make sure that our cedi, our currency, is stable so that it can create a predictable environment for our private sector.
You heard President John Dramani Mahama. Meanwhile, as the curtain fell on the 2026 Global Business Forum, some exhibitors have expressed high satisfaction with the 3-day event, describing it as a transformative platform for Ghanaian enterprises. Speaking to 3 Business, they highlighted the unique networking opportunities and shared their expectations for an even more robust engagement in the next edition.
Exhibitors at Peru Convention Center noted that this year's forum provided unprecedented visibility. CEO of Black Peacock, Anidela Akanko, is looking ahead to leverage services of the financial sector during next year's forum.
You need financial backing to scale up. So next year, I look forward to having that opportunity to have sessions with them, not only with the banking sector, but other stakeholders that are in the government sector, looking at the GEPA, we have GIPC, the Trade Ministry, because there needs to be coordination between them and us, and that makes the whole value chain a little more strategic and more strengthened.
Despite the success of the 2026 edition, Head of Sales and Marketing at Supreme State Company, Isaac Dazi, is already looking ahead with a specific recommendation for the next forum.
I know that they do the exhibition, government agencies pass through and all that. We talk about our product, but I think it will be very good if the startup businesses are being given a platform, maybe one day, to showcase what they have. Maybe we have this and that. I mean, 1 hour, 30 to 1 hour, we'll be able to do something. 2 minutes, 5 minutes each will be helpful.
Sales and Marketing Manager at Virtual Security Africa and Virtual InfoSec Africa, Safia Tanko Imran, noted the networking associated with the Kwewu Business Forum is priceless.
I would definitely want to come back. It's a very good platform, an amazing platform. Coming here and engage in networking. The business industry is big but it's small at the same time, because you may meet someone here, get a contact here that would feed into your business later, or someone would meet you that will feed into their business later. So I would definitely want to be part of it in the coming years.
The 2026 Forum, held from April 3 to 5, 2026, was under the theme, The Future of Businesses, the Role of Financial Sector. However, the focus was toward practical industrialization and good corporate citizenship.
And that was a wrap on some exhibitors sharing their experience at the just ended Cool Business Forum. This is still Business Daily on 3FM 92.7 with me, Bismarck. Also, before we go, investor appetite for Ghana's short-term debt instruments is cooling rapidly as government recorded a shortfall in excess of 1 billion cedis. This is the 3rd consecutive undersubscription in the latest Treasury bill auction. There is more in the following 3 Business News Desk reports.
The government fell 1.05 billion cedis short of its 4.67 billion cedis target, securing total debts of only 3.16 billion cedis. Of the bids received, the Bank of Ghana accepted 2.94 billion cedis, signaling a sharp pivot from the oversubscription seen earlier this year. The auction results highlight a shifting landscape where investors are demanding higher returns for their liquidity. The 91-day bill remained the most popular. Bids amounted to 2.02 billion cedis, while government took 1.99 billion cedis at yield of 4.81%. The 182-day bill received offers totaling 498 million cedis, with government accepting 460 million cedis at an interest rate of 6.71%. For the 364-day bill, investors offered 648 million cedis in bids, while government accepted 533 million cedis at a yield of 9.84%. This recalibration of investor sentiment comes at a challenging time for fiscal authorities. Despite the weakening demand, government is doubling down on its borrowing strategy. On April 10, 2026, government plans to return to the market with a significantly higher target of 7.57 billion cedis. Analysts suggest that if the current trend of undersubscription continues, government may be forced to further hike interest rates to attract the necessary capital to meet its short-term financing needs.
And that was a 3 Business News Desk report on government missing its target by 1.05 billion cedis in third straight deficit as Treasury bill demand slumps. And that brings us to the end of Business Daily on 3FM 92.7 with me, Bismarck Awusa. For more business stories, please check out our website 3news.com. Urban Blend is next with Black Rasta. Please stay.